Sorry if I too late in the morning here.
All right, we are set.
Do you want me to record a backup?
Hello.
Jermaine, do you want to record a backup?
Welcome to the first
Camtasia
ever
right now.
Hangout on Cooking Show with Flavor, Hanging with Flavor. Tonight we have an outstanding group of guests, a wonderful meal, and some great conversation for you. I'm Yarmeen Nomir, and I'll be your host for this evening. I'm out here in beautiful San Antonio, Texas, and I'm going to start off by introducing you to our outstanding guests this evening who will be helping to make this show flavorful. We're going to start all the way on the right, and if you would please introduce yourself, Matthew.
Hi, my name is Matthew Rappaport. I'm from New York City. I like a lot of food, but my real food that I like, that junk food chicken burrito, man. I love a good chicken burrito.
Hi, I'm Shefali Burns. I'm from Ottawa, Canada, and I'm one of the producers of Hangout Chef. And my favorite food, I have so many, but I'll stick with curry chicken, which I made last week.
Go ahead.
Oh, hey, my name is Robert McGee, and my favorite food is chicken piccata, and what it is chicken with a creamy wine sauce, and it usually pairs with pasta, and it's amazing.
Hi, I'm Lynette Young, and I'm a Jersey girl, and I have to say my favorite food is anything ethnic. I love homemade food. Tastes like your mom or your grandma made it, so as long as it's ethnic, that's pretty much what I'll eat.
Kim, you want to stop by and say hello to us for a second? Kim is our wonderful chef for the evening.
Hello. My name is Kim Beasley, and I am from, I'm in Missouri, St. Louis, Missouri, and I love to cook. To tell you my favorite food would be me cutting my arm off because I love so many different types, but I love to cook Cajun. Cajun is my favorite type to cook, and jambalaya and etouffee are my favorites.
I can agree with that, Kim. My name is Joseph Lee. I'm in Boston, and if you look at my stream, you would think that my favorite food's anything with bacon in it. Although that is my number 2 love, my favorite dish is something my mom used to make when I was a kid, which is a kind of a Hong Kong comfort food, which is egg, tomato, and beef over rice. Mm-hmm. And if you go to your local Chinese place, and if you're lucky, they might have it for you. So check it out. Lynette, you might like that.
I would love it, I'm sure.
That's great. Hermine, and like we said, sushi. I'll kick it over to Hassan. Go ahead.
My name is Hassan Shabir, and I am in Karachi, Pakistan at the moment. And my favorite food is anything Italian with a lot of cheese, especially lasagna. I just love it. I don't know why, and I'm not fat.
Now, Hassan, where are you joining us from tonight?
I am in Karachi, Pakistan.
Wonderful. So we are global today. Now, Kim, I'm going to pass it over to you. Tell us what you will be making for us.
Well, some of the things I am going to be eating tonight are Cajun with a little bit of seafood in there. I am cooking shrimp, turkey sausage, etouffee, and it'll go over rice. And then I'm also cooking cake bread, which is basically cornbread that looks like cake, and cabbage. Now, on top of the cornbread or cake bread, we will be putting watermelon rind preserve that I cooked earlier today.
Do you want to start what do you want to talk about, and that'll give us time?
Sure. The main dish is basically where you just throw everything into a skillet, vegetables, oil. Some people like to use oil, some like to use butter. I personally, I like to use oil, and I dump out my vegetables in a bowl. Well, here, let me turn it this way so you can kind of see. We're in my kitchen.
Can you tilt it down just a little bit for us so we can really see?
Okay. Hey.
Perfect. Thank you.
So I have different peppers that I've diced up. This is the yellow one. And then I have red. And what I really like to put in my roux, and roux is just a base that you start with Caucasian Creole cooking. And my roux, I put in onion, I put in celery, and I also put in green pepper.
So we're going to
go ahead.
We're going to come back for a quick second, and I'm going to just chat while she is starting to put those vegetables on. And I want to get a sense from this R-Star cast, the most innovative people I've met. Tell me what your perspective is today, where technology is and where it's heading. So I'm going to start with the man who's been leading up some Hangout conversations in the area, Matthew, and then I'm going to kind of go right on down the line for this first question. So if you guys can tell us a little bit of what you've been involved with in this innovative space and what you own, and then let me know where it's going. Go ahead.
Sure. I started a show called Hangout Conversations, hangoutconversations.com. We just had our 4th episode with Peter McDermott last night, which is really cool, and Daria Musk dropped in, special surprise guest, and we had a good time, and we broadcast live stream like you guys are doing, and the idea from it came from hanging out with a lot of different people on Google Plus and really meeting people, and Hangout Party and Hangout, all those Hangout casts were cool, but you didn't get a sense of who people were, and I wanted to get a sense of who people were, so I really enjoyed that aspect of it, getting to know people and then inviting the people to hang out afterwards. And so far Google Plus has been great. I think we're all addicted to it. I've hung out with Joseph Lee. He's one of my G Plus Beatles. Me, Joseph Lee, Amanda Blaney, Bobby Joe Woods. We were kind of like the G Plus Hangout Beatles in the beginning, and a bunch of other people.
Tell me for a second. I get a sense that what you do is you're having conversations, in-depth ones with people. Talk to me about where the technology is going.
Where the technology is going. Yeah, the Hangout platform, you can do anything with this Hangout platform, and what Google Plus has created, and what you see here is one Hangout platform. They also have Hangout with Extras, which has a lot of other different features as well, and Google is just creating a lot of different abilities to connect with people like never before, and
That's fantastic. Thank you.
Really cool. You got it.
No, I appreciate it. Now, Shefali, talk to us. What have you been involved with, and where do you think it's going?
Well, I've been involved with, obviously, Hangout Chefs and Hanging with Flavor. This is a great project that the three of us have started, you, Kim, and I. But I also have other projects that I'm in the works with right now, which has to do with bringing people together and showcasing their skills, their talents, what they do for a living, right? And most of my personal time is spent with healing and helping people, so that's what I deal with mostly. But I have met so many wonderful people on Google Plus, and in the Hangouts, I'm one of the ones that's addicted to Hangouts. I'm in Hangouts every day, and it's amazing how helpful.
I completely relate.
I mean, people are so helpful. They help you with everything. It's like I have learned so much, and people are so genuinely caring and nice, and it's like a whole new world, and it's like it makes you feel good that there are so many kind and wonderful people out there who are not worried about competition.
Absolutely,
they're sharing their knowledge,
absolutely,
they're sharing their skills. So it's a wonderful place.
New world. So, Lynette, I'm going to turn it over to me.
I hit Google Plus running, to say an understatement. I'm a geek when it comes right down to it. Since like 89 or 90, I've been in the technology field and always had my eye on what was next. And never happy with what was going on now. Finally, I'm happy with what's going on now, and that would be Google Plus. But I guess the thing that struck me the most about Google Plus when I first started here is how social it was. There was actually real-time intercommunication between people and not necessarily just status updates back and forth, meaning, dump your info and run, which is why I think that I really gravitated to this. I wound up starting a site in a community called Women of Google Plus, and to try to bring up our numbers so we get a little more 50-50 in the platform like we women tend to be in some of the other social places online.
Right.
And that's pretty much just it. I'm also a huge fan of Hangouts. I'm also a huge fan of eating. And I love this because I grew up in a Polish household. And for us, love and community was sitting around the kitchen table. And that's what I feel that this piece of technology does for all of us. So I'm just thrilled to be here.
Fantastic. Well, that's perfect. We're gonna hold you guys off for a second. Let's get back to the kitchen table that's at and with Kim. Kim, you want to tell us what step you are in the cooking?
I have just added the flour to my roux, which is basically the oil and the vegetables. And what it does, it thickens it up. And now I'm ready to add the roux, the meat, into a pot with some water and let it simmer for a good 30 minutes.
Okay, great. So we will join her soon after she adds those ingredients. Joseph, I'm going to kick it over to you. Talk to me about where you're at, what you're doing, and where is this going?
Sure. Just gonna say I love watching you cook, Kim. Just it's fun over there. I can't imagine what kind of smells you're cooking up over there. But
oh, it's good.
Personally, I use Google Plus more like just a way to keep up on science news and work up on my writing. So personally, I do some research over at Harvard Med, so sometimes I do science posts, but that's pretty much grown to just posting what I like and finding like-minded human beings to contact with. And meeting Matthew and everyone else has been pretty great. And hopefully I can continue being a helper to the Hangout conversations with my questions, and glad to be here at Hangout Cooking with you guys.
Thank you. Glad to have you. Glad to have all of you. Hassan, I'm going to have you wrap it up there. What are your thoughts?
Well, I actually have been exploring this space for the past 6 weeks now, and I really find it amazing. It's like this is like the most or the first truly social platform that we have on the internet, and I'm currently working on some ideas that actually revolve around Hangouts, and I'm trying to like make it more intuitive, more interactive. Well, those are actually just a lot of rough ideas that I'm working on. But yeah, I actually found this space extremely amazing, and that is just about it.
Thank you. I appreciate it. You know what, Lynette, I want to follow up on something that you said, and then I'll come back and follow up on something that Joseph said as well. You're talking about the space, and you said you'd like to get it more 50-50 between the women and men. What are you currently seeing? What are the trends there?
Well, of course, no one knows the real numbers, so to speak. I've skewed my own numbers because I purposely seek out women to communicate with. But being a female in the technology field, as I know females in science, for example, are very outnumbered by men, it's been something that I've been doing for the past 20 years, is tending to gravitate towards other women in my profession. But what I found in Google Plus is I didn't even care if they did what I do for a living. I've been finding a very large, thriving community of photographers and artists and writers and authors and just everything under the sun that I either wish I was myself or aspire to be. But I kind of let go of that idea of looking for necessarily other tech women. And right now I'm just, it's a huge platform for just finding other brilliant women. So that's what we're doing. But I have to say, since going in Google Plus, and I was in since literally the first day that those open invites, or the invites came out back in, was it June? Has it been that long already?
Yeah, wow.
That I've seen a lot more women come into the platform. I've seen a lot more people that were hesitant to get here or nervous kind of let go of that and come in and join the community quicker and more deeply than I think that they have in other platforms that I've seen this evolution in the past with things even as far back as MySpace or Second Life online. So it's been really interesting.
It does. It does. Now, Joseph, this one's for you. She spoke a little bit about the brilliance that she's finding in conversations and the people on Google+. Now, outside of male, women, female, doesn't matter, but what are you seeing in this area?
Yeah, I mean, especially concerning engagement. I mean, there was this great post comparing one of Tom Anderson's posts that were the same on Google Plus and Facebook, and whereas you get like, go Tom, and you're awesome, and be my #1 friend on Facebook, like on the Google Plus side, you have like paragraphs, TLDR posts, like what, every spectrum, everyone was engaging Tom as a conversation. And the great part is I think Tom was actually focusing more on the Google Plus post, actually commenting with his thoughts as opposed to the Facebook one, because I mean, it's just very superficial. the communication you can have over there versus here. And, the fact that you can actually see each other and talk on a Hangout is pretty awesome.
Yeah, definitely. And then, Hassan, tell me about internationally. I know that I don't get to meet too many people from Pakistan on Google Hangouts, but what are you seeing out where you're at?
I mean, I can say that it's all about perspective. I mean, it's like original, and it's like, I mean, you actually get to know what I mean, it's like there has always been a barrier between the whole international community and the whole of the United States. Primarily, it's like people actually use media, the actual media, to know what people are like, or what and what people think, and all of that stuff. But now, when I've actually engaged myself on a platform that kind of allows me to like talk with people, like person to person, it kind of has like enlightened me with a lot of things that I actually never knew before, and that's kind of like the same thoughts that other people from who are actually not from the United States have. It's like I've actually met people from India, or even Philippines, even West Indies, from Barbados and stuff. And it's like, I mean, they all have, I mean, they're just waking up to the fact that there are many more interesting people around them,
Right.
and the stuff that and the preconceived notions that they had in their head, people from certain areas of the world were not that spot on.
Right.
If you know what I mean.
So no, absolutely, I know what you mean. There's definitely some learning there, and getting to engage with people that you otherwise would not have a chance to. So with that, I'd love to engage in some etouffee, and maybe what else you'll be making for the evening for us, Kim, if you have a second to let us see what you are making.
Say that again. Sorry, I was
Too much into it. We'd love to hear what else you'll be making for us this evening, and we'd love to be able to even see it.
Oh, it's a secret. I don't get a secret.
What's the point of having a cooking show unless you're going to tell us your southern secret?
I'm going to be making cake cornbread.
Nothing wrong with that.
Oh, wow.
Scratch. I am going to making cabbage is just gone on. Oops, sorry, I'm talking to you guys and I'm off screen. The cabbage is on now.
We'd love to be able to see it. It's like the cooking show. Even though we're not being able to make it at this moment, we'd like to see you like whipping it up. You're working hard over there. You're not sweating enough.
Yes, I am.
Kim, you dressed up for the show. You should have an awesome apron.
Listen to you.
Like I do.
So talk to us about this bread.
Okay,
And it actually, before you get started here's the next question I'd love to get a sense from everybody here on the panel. We see a lot of news stories that I typically don't see in the mainstream media. I'd just like to get a sense from you all. What are you seeing on Google Plus in a given period of time? What is the mainstream media missing? So Kim, though, before we talk about that, what do you have in there for us? Talk to us.
Okay, this is the cake bread. I don't know if
Can you tilt it down a bit? Thank you.
This is the cake bread. It's basically cornmeal, egg, flour, sugar. I do not measure. And I also make it so that it's healthy. I do about 2 parts cornmeal to 1 part flour. And I make sure the cornmeal is step rising. That way it will rise up with the cake. Just like with the cake. And I use, depending on the type of cornbread I want, I will either use milk or water. And tonight I'm going to use water to give it the wetness that it needs.
All right, fantastic. Well, we will join you back once you mix some of those things together. And I am going to start on your end, and we'll work all the way down. Hassan, talk to me. What news stories do you see internationally that you don't see on your local TV?
Well, I mean, it's like there are a lot of people here who actually like to talk about what's going around them. Like, for example, I was talking to this guy who was from Austria the other day, and he was talking to me about some of the issues that they were actually having with their law enforcement agencies. And I'm pretty sure that I would never have got to like hear about them if I would have like turned towards my mainstream media, because it's like, I mean, it's like the power of people at its best. I mean, people control the space, and I mean, they're not censored, and I mean, they can just talk about whatever is there in their mind, and I mean, it's just amazing.
That does sound amazing.
Yeah, seriously, it really is.
Joseph, what type of stories are you seeing?
Well, I guess what stories you have depends on who's in your circles. I know that my stream was like 24/7 or 24-hour Steve Jobs news for a while. But I have been seeing a lot of Occupy Wall Street stuff before it was actually embraced by mainstream media, which is pretty nice. A nice way of showing, it was a nice way, or nice evidence of seeing how something like Google Plus, or it could be something similar to the Arab Spring, where you can see news that wasn't really embraced by the mainstream media. Some other things, lots of low cats, always plenty of cats on my stream. But yeah, I enjoy what I see because I circle the people that post what I enjoy. So it's kind of like a self-fulfilling prophecy for me.
That's exactly it. Lynette?
Actually, Occupy Wall Street is really big because I'm in New Jersey, and so Manhattan is not all that far. And actually, a really good friend of mine works for ABC News. His name's Dan Patterson, and he's been all over Google Plus. And I think that, I mean, I definitely saw more of the citizen journalism coming up with that because, of course, a lot of the people that I had circled were regional, which included New York. But seeing Dan, who has, quote-unquote legitimate press credentials, being able to get in there literally with only, an iPhone camera and not big equipment or anything, and I think he was able to get a little closer to it and really express himself and what he saw for Occupy Wall Street in a way that I think I don't want to say he wasn't allowed, but ABC News or any of the news channels, even if they ever did decide to pick this up, you're going to get a 30-second soundbite on this. Where here you could talk about it as much as you want, and you're not limited by how much airtime you have or how many column inches you have in a newspaper. And I think that that's what I absolutely love about it, because once you find something that you're interested in and passionate about and that you want to know more about, you can drill in as deep as you want because people are willing to put that content out there.
That's great. Thank you. Thank you. Shefali, what are you seeing in Canada?
Actually, even with us, we're not seeing a lot of news about the Occupy Wall Street. I mean, we in Canada, we get a lot of the American news for sure, and news from Europe, but the Occupy Wall Street we're not getting at all, But they are showing now that there's going to be other movements like that, even in Canada. So they are trying to get the news out, to get the word out about what's happening, but I'm getting more information from Google+. I mean, I'm getting nothing on Facebook at all about any of that kind of information.
Right.
It's all on Google+, and which I think is amazing, because if there are 30 million people on Google+, at least some of us are finding out what's happening in the real world, and it's not what the media is reporting, and it's not their skewed perspective, right? These are, people on the street, and it's important to see their perspective, and I don't think we could get that anywhere else. So it's Google Plus has been great for giving out information, for people being free to give out information and share. So which is good.
No, I get that. It's interesting. I just heard more recent numbers where they say something like 55 million and counting. It's amazing because I think it's the fastest that any of these social networking sites have made it to 50 million. It's almost unheard of. So whatever, kudos to Google. Matt, why don't you take us home? What are you seeing in New York, close to Lynette?
Yeah, Occupy Wall Street's big in New York, obviously, and big in on Google Plus. Google Plus, Occupy Wall Street. It's also created a lot of memes for Occupies. We have Occupy Hangouts, Occupy Sesame Street, Occupy. So many different memes that are going on, and it's interesting to see people's take and and whether they're joking, or they're being serious, or they're just looking for negative attention or positive attention. That's really happening, and that interaction is interesting. A lot of people on Google Plus, more so, there's trolls and there's people that are in between where they're trying to get a reaction and they're doing experiments and seeing what's going on, and some people get mad and some people play along and but a lot of people give their honest opinion, and so that's interesting. Same thing with Steve Jobs. When Steve Jobs died, a lot of people were wondering what's going on with so many posts about Steve Jobs, and I was like, "What? Steve Jobs was a visionary. It makes sense that there's a lot of posts about it." So and then there were people that were trolling and putting Charlie Sheen dying a fool or putting things like against Steve Jobs, and people are getting upset and blocking and uncircling. So there's a lot of interesting people's beliefs versus what they're posting is really showing on Google Plus versus anywhere else, I think.
That's great. Thank you so much for that perspective. I want to see what Occupy Sesame Street is. I'm already what is that?
It's really good.
There's this Grover picture, which is hilarious.
There's a few of them.
If you guys have never used these Google Plus chat rooms, I know there's some people watching the show that's the case. There's these Hangouts. There's a chat bar within it, and you can post information back and forth. So if you see me just randomly smiling, it's not that you're not in on a joke. It's just somebody's being funny, and it's really funny. So thank you. I just got my Occupy Sesame Street, and if you want to know more, come over to Google Plus and find out more. In the meantime, before we start talking more about the news of the day, let's have Kim. Let's check back into the kitchen and find out what's going there. Kim.
Oh, the cabbage is almost done. The etouffee, I'm going to give you guys a peek. You want a peek?
Yes.
Here's a peek. Can you see it? That's the cabbage.
Yep.
Oh, wow.
That looks good.
Yeah.
That's the etouffee.
Oh, that looks
yummy.
Really good.
Don't forget to wipe the camera.
It's steamy.
It's very steamy.
So now my secret to rice. I normally,
I don't know, Kim. Can you do rice better than me?
oh yes I can. I'm going to give my secret.
I'm going to have to see firsthand evidence of that.
I agree.
A cultural historical advantage over you, Kim.
To cook great rice.
And Kim.
You put 2 parts water, 1 part rice.
Oh my goodness.
You take a tablespoon of water out for each cup of water.
All
then
right.
you let it cook for 15 minutes. Take it off the heat. Let it sit for 15 minutes with the cover on it, and you will have perfectly cooked rice.
Okay.
That's funny.
That sounds good.
It does. I was living in Colorado, and it's just so different cooking at elevation to here now in San Antonio that all my recipes are just wrong. So I'm just having to relearn everything. So thank you for the tablespoon of water out.
How long does it take to cook boiled water in Colorado or on the plateau? Is that where you're at?
Well, I was in Boulder. That's where I grew up, Mile High, somewhere close to that. But it wasn't so much that it took much longer to boil water. It was actually less time to boil water because I think the boiling point
Right. It's low.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, of course. You're like Harvard brilliance. Okay.
Well, I wouldn't go that far.
Whatever, New Yorker. Get ahead of yourself.
If you invented Facebook, you would have invented Facebook, Harvard.
No disrespect.
He did invent Facebook. It got stolen from him.
Is that like a level? Like Harvard brilliant? That's like an adjective.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I guess there's
Harvard.
Oxford brilliance if you want old school knowledge.
Clinton went to Oxford.
You want to know how they used to do it? Oxford knowledge?
Yes. Speaking of Oxford, did you know that the Queen of England cannot be arrested for any crime whatsoever over there? Amazing.
Oh yeah, her fashion sense.
Mhm.
That's definitely so.
Don't tell that to her in your
And
face.
spanking the prince, that's not good either. That's
What? Oh, well, she is their grandma.
Oh,
Yeah.
right.
Oh yeah, she is a grandma.
Yeah.
Think she'll ever be a great grandma anytime soon? Are they going to have some cute little kids? I digress. We were talking about technology here.
Okay, Harmony.
Okay, I'm focused.
When are we going to get an interview with the assistant? They never get their fair share of coverage.
Yeah, who is that person cooking with Kim? I missed that, I guess.
Oh, that's Kim. Introduce us to your friend that's been helping you out this whole evening.
This whole time she has flour on her face, working so hard.
This is my friend Tracy.
Hi, Tracy.
We've been knowing each other since 2001.
11 years ago?
Yeah.
Long time.
We put up with each other that long.
Oh, wow.
It must be friendship.
It must be love. Must be something. Fantastic, guys. All right, so you guys, I want to ask a question.
I was just going to share, she just got back from a mission trip to Kenya.
Wow.
Wow.
And I just found out today I get to go back at the end of December for 2 more weeks.
Nice.
That sounds awesome.
End of the year, beginning of next year.
I read like an article that apparently those cheap Android phones are by Safaricom or
Safaricom, yeah.
yes, that they're bringing internet to the masses over there, which is great.
Right.
Hopefully.
That is amazing. Well, can I use that to slingboard us or slingshot us to technology? I'm talking about this. One of the things I keep hearing on Google Plus is that it's put these Hangouts on an HTML5 platform, and supposedly you're going to be able to create, or some point in the future, some great things. So can the tech people tell me what that means in regular people speak? All right, Harvard, you're on.
Well, it's always this thing, like everyone wants to show me their skin to see what it is, but I'm not that kind of doctor. But, okay, so HTML5 is actually pretty good because you can build cross-platform programs. Like Windows 8, for example, is going to be a mixture of HTML. If you build a program, as far as I understand, if you build a program for Windows 8, it'll also work on Chrome OS, for example, which is very heavy in HTML5. But the nice thing is you can use your browser and it can actually access the computing power of your video card. So you can have some pretty complex computer horsepower going on in the background. And the nice thing about HTML5 Hangouts is I just noticed that my Flash crashed while I was watching this YouTube video during it, but this Hangout still went fine. So it's also a lot more stable too. A little anecdotal experience for you.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. Hassan, you want to fill us in? What are your thoughts on it?
Okay. I mean, for a layman, I can say that, yeah, I mean, that's what HTML5 is all about. But, I mean, I would like to, turn the table towards the stuff that actually Google has provided us. I was going through the Hangout API, I mean, and I actually found out that through that API, you can control just about every aspect of a Hangout to your liking. I mean, you can just integrate everything that you have in a Hangout and just customize it according to your liking, like who the camera is on, who's speaking and who's not, the whole text stream and everything. So that is definitely going to allow a lot of web developers out there to make customized solutions that are going to use this platform, but in a very innovative way. Like you can have custom talk shows like this. You can have news feeds. You can have classrooms. You can have a lot of other very innovative stuff that will use this environment. And the fact that you can hang out from just about anywhere using your mobile device is like amazing. Like seriously. So
no, that is seriously amazing. I keep seeing people on their mobile phones doing amazing things, but I wanted to, like you said something there that was just really on my mind, because on the 10th, I think, I start my class at Stanford, my online, have you guys heard about this? You can take free classes through a lot of universities now. And this one's on go ahead.
I heard, I think it was at UCLA, they're having a StarCraft class, so just be careful what your coursework you want to take.
Right. Mine's on artificial intelligence. So I think for me as a researcher, it's more just to understand the process, the learning, what's going to be happening next. And I think I'm taking the basic level where I just sit and listen and maybe do some of the exercises, but I'll be taking none of the tests. I don't care. Have you guys heard about any of these? Lynette? Yeah, you're nodding your head. Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, for a while now, I know in iTunes, a lot of those courses have been offered sort of after the fact on demand. What do they call it? iTunes University is what I think it is. It's sort of like a podcast, but officially put out. Harvard puts one out. MIT puts a ton of them out. And it's sort of like going in and sitting in on a class, and you get access to that information afterwards. My brother's college, Purdue University, does that as well too, and I think his was the first class. A lot of the professors would tape their lectures and put them online, not just for students, but for anyone who wanted to take them. So this sounds like it's even a step deeper than that, but the kind of the on-demand podcasts is what I had information about before.
And so let me ask Shefali, you have kids that are in school, as do I. Do you think that this changes any way that your kids learn if they can take classes from teachers all over the world and interact in the same fashion with students from all over the world?
Oh, definitely. It gives them more opportunities. They get to see the world on a smaller scale. You know, they don't have to go everywhere. They can see it right here on their computer. So it really helps to broaden their minds as to the opportunities that are out there for them. It gives them more knowledge. It gives them a lot more experience. And I think it helps them to think bigger, bigger and beyond and outside the box. Something like that is really good for their thinking skills and being imaginative and creative. And, like I always try and tell the kids, anything is possible. Whatever you think of, it's possible. You can do it. And if they see these kinds of technology, all these innovations, then they will have the confidence as well to think, what else can I do? Is there something else I can do? I mean, these other people are doing it, but what else can I do? And the more they see that, I mean, now that Steve Jobs
the better we all are, though.
Unfortunately, the newer generation, this is what they're going to be doing. They're going to be looking at the technology and all the innovation, seeing what they can do to make this world a better place. That's what I think. So I think it's fantastic.
That's awesome.
Yeah, for kids to be able to experience all these things.
So Matthew, then, I'm going to ask you specifically because I understand that you are, your passion is in directing, right? And really saying, behind the camera. We're going to need more people with that skill set if this is the way that it's going. What do you see? I mean, is it more of there's more competition? What do you see from behind the camera with what's going to be going on? A bunch of recording, a bunch of novices. What do you see?
Yeah, I mean, you're already seeing it right now with webcasts, podcasts, all over the internet, and with this new platform, the Hangout platform, and geez, I think Facebook is going to introduce a similar platform as well that people will use. Maybe not to the same effect that Google Plus will, but more and more people are getting a camera, whether they're trained in directing or not, and they're making content for the internet, especially for YouTube. And you can see with Occupy Wall Street, it's pretty amazing what's happening with video on Wall Street. With Michael Mozart himself is reporting from Occupy Wall Street, making videos, and it's interesting. It's like this amateur journalism, but it's really cool. It's like documentary journalism. I'm interested in that as well as fiction, and it's really cool to see all this content, all these people that would never have a chance before to have a chance to see their stuff be shown to millions of people, which they never.
No, absolutely. Thank you so much for showing that. We're going to get back to Kim here in just a second. But you guys, unfortunately, at the end of the day, I am a marketer, right? I'm an advertiser, and I want to know how to connect with consumers, brands in this space, right? So if you guys can kind of just think about, just from a consumer standpoint, how would you appreciate or like or engage in brands when they're coming into a place that really we as consumers have owned over this period of time? But before we get too heavy with that, let's go over to Kim. And Kim, bring us through. I know you have a great drink, so I want to hear it.
Well, the only thing I drink is apple juice and water, basically. So we're going to be doing apple juice tonight. But just some secrets that I don't mind sharing with cooking. Whenever I cook a dish like this, or pretty much anything, I like to have the same spices pretty much and everything that, for instance, the spices I used, I will share.
Okay, so while she's getting the spices, I'm going to go get my own drink then, if you're not going to have any good drinks.
I have some apple juice. I used in my dishes, the vegetables you saw were green peppers, yellow pepper, onion, and it was red onion, and celery. The spices, Mrs. Dash.
Of course.
This is a tomato, basil, garlic. I use, and this is a staple for Cajun cooking. Cayenne pepper.
Oh, okay. Now I know.
And I use, and I don't like to cut up garlic or onion, so I use a powder. All the spices that I showed you are salt-free. I cannot cook with salt, so everything I cook is salt-free, but it still has a lot of flavor. And so I have the same spices in the etouffee that I have in the cabbage. And then I also put the same vegetables, the onion, the bell peppers, and the celery into the cabbage so it can be a consistent flavor. And the cake bread is still cooking, but it looks, oh, and it smells so good.
Can we get a peek in there? Can we see what's going on in there? Or no.
Take us to the oven, Kim.
We want to see we want to see it. We want to be like
Transport
living,
us to a world of food.
Hold on. Can you see it?
No,
Lower.
down. Okay, now it's
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
it's beautiful. It's rising well.
It's still rising.
Your oven is so clean. That's amazing. Do you have the auto clean function?
No.
But
All right.
Pam, you know what's really smart, and that's a trick for everyone in here? You actually have like a pan underneath what you're cooking, so if anything drips off, it looked like kind of,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
pretty wise.
Yes.
And
I have
you
one, just
the
an aluminum
you put a
pan.
little water into it. You put a little water into the pan.
Oh.
So
Like a
that,
little water bath. Oh, yeah.
I didn't,
So that it won't stick to the pan in case it drips into the pan. And when you cook cake bread, my secret to cake bread, I put 2 parts cornmeal, maybe 1 part flour, half a part of sugar, and 1 egg. Stir it up, mix in, pour in water or milk until you have almost a grainy liquid type, not too wet and not too dry, somewhere in between. I should have showed it to you. Sorry, I didn't. And be quiet. And then I butter the pan that I'm going to cook it in. I either butter or I put oil in it.
All right. Well, we will
make sure that the bread doesn't stick to the sides.
So we were going to talk here just for a short minute about kind of that next string of questions, which is all about brands, you guys, and then we'll come right back to you for the last few minutes and see what it is that you hooked up for us. Who wants to start with answering questions about marketing and advertising and what's appropriate, what's not? You know what? Let's tune in to our sound guy, who we haven't heard much from tonight, Robert McGee. Please go ahead.
Hey. Okay. Well, basically, I mean, I was in a business where advertisers really wanted to connect with consumers. Google's trying to do it. You know, there's been a lot of attempts to do it, and I think Hangouts is really going to be the way of the future, so to speak, because now advertisers are really going to get to hear from regular people rather than, you know, their analysts or whoever they use to get the consumer opinion. And what it's going to do, I think it's going to scare a couple of them. I think they're really going to get a wake-up call as to what consumers really want out of brands and what they want to see maybe from commercials and how to present to us, so to speak. So it's going to be really interesting, and it's also going to be interesting how they're going to moderate it, because I know they're going to want to.
No, so that you spoke to it from a survey perspective, or just trying to understand the consumer. What else? Does anybody else want to dive into that question from any standpoint?
Oh, I'm all over this one. This makes me crazy. As someone that is just eyeball deep in technology all the time, I see the technology as marketers or PR folks trying to use the technology to solve a problem when they really don't need the technology to solve a problem. I feel what they should be doing, and part of what I do when I'm not on Google Plus all the time, is I think companies need to show their human face and not hide behind their brand. I mean, we see the Googlers are all over this place. When's the last time you ever talked to someone from Facebook? Never. And you need to tell a story. I don't want to know your facts. I don't want to know your benefits. I don't want to know anything about that. I think if brands can learn how to be human and tell a story that connects with the people on the other side, that's what's going to make them different, even in platforms like this.
No, there's so much truth to what you're saying. I want to pick your brain actually for a second after the show, but that's another story. How about anyone else? Okay, so here's the question that I have, and I've just pondered it. I am, as a person, I represent my own brand. I stand for something. I'm probably lovingly and maybe too much honest sometimes. But I also, there's companies out there that I represent. There's part of me that says, like, they're separate. But when I work for Campbell Ewald, we're part of the IPG group. The fact that I'm in this space, there's very few advertisers here. I would think that tells you maybe our agency is a little bit more innovative. I don't know. Maybe it tells you that we really do care in knowing what it is that you think, and we really do want to have a conversation with you. I don't know. I'd love to get a sense, though, if you start to see businesses in here, what are you expecting from them? Do you want a two-way conversation? Do you want them to finally just, like, listen to what it is that you have to say?
Oh, yeah, a two-way conversation, much better. Especially if it's like, for example, I think a great way of doing it is if you can somehow meld in Hangouts with technical support that Michael Dell was talking about. I mean, actually being able to talk to a person so that they can describe their problem. That looks really good, Kim, by the way.
Oh, wow.
Okay, is that done?
Fork.
That was great.
Is that done, Kim?
Can we hold that down? Can someone take a picture? Kim, can you pull it further up or pull your camera down, one of the two?
Yeah, we can't see the plate very well.
We can't see the plate.
Move the plate closer to your body or move backwards a little bit, Kim. Oh, backwards.
Yeah, there you go.
Good.
Perfect.
That's perfect, yeah.
Okay.
Now show us eating it.
Can somebody take a screenshot?
The only way to gauge how good it is your reaction, Kim.
All right, let's see it. Let's see one big bite, Kim, and do it slow. We need the slow.
We need to see the cooking show. That's good.
Yes, that's some good stuff.
Can't hear you, Kim.
Okay, you're on mute.
Kim, you're muted.
Oh, we almost missed the on the mute.
I don't know if I can do this on camera.
All right, we can see your
We
mouth.
believe you. You might blow on it. Oh, can you guys see the steam and everything is popping?
That's hot.
There's sprints on there. Oh, look at that. Oh, look at that.
Hold it
I
up
can't
higher.
look at it. You have to make it higher.
Okay.
Oh,
Wow.
that was great.
Now stick it through the internet. Is that shrimp? Wow.
Yes.
All right, there it goes.
Ooh.
That was hot.
And the cake bread is cooking.
So you know something's really good if you're willing to burn your tongue to eat it quickly.
Yeah, right.
Burn my tongue.
You ready?
Burn your tongue, Kim. It's your own cooking. Have you no pride? Oh.
Awesome.
Nom 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 nom.
Ooh, that was fun.
Oh, I'm screenshotting that.
Yeah, you should.
I have a saying that if something's so good, I might have to slap you.
Yeah.
That's the face I would make.
That would be it.
That would be it. So good, I'm gonna slap you.
Oh, guys. Okay, now we're gonna place the. I want to show you the. Can you? I'm gonna show you guys the watermelon rind preserve.
Sounds healthy.
I so don't like watermelon.
I usually throw those out, but you're saying now I can do something with them?
Mm-hmm.
There was this teacher or professor, she ate the whole orange, skin, everything. She said it had the most vitamin C in the skin.
Yeah, my brother, he's like on the paleo diet, and he does the same thing. Kiwi, orange. Ooh. I haven't seen him do it with the banana, though. So.
There's this watermelon brain carving that's going around the internet. I should show you on it.
Oh yeah, definitely. I'll go with the watermelon rind. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So the secret to it, watermelon rind, and I had to call my mom to get this recipe, guys. This is her recipe. So it's with the watermelon rind.
Kim, can we see it?
You have, yeah, I'm ready to show it to you.
Bless you.
Thank you.
You have to remember to, I need to heat it up a little bit because I put it in the refrigerator.
Okay, well, while she's doing that, let's continue with the conversation in terms of this two-way communication. And I want to hear from Matthew in a second, but would you mind finishing, Joseph, what you were saying about it?
Sure. Well, I basically, Michael Dell proposed that he could use Hangouts in his company for technical support, and it would be great if I could talk to a technician about my problem, and hopefully it'll work both ways. It's a win-win situation. If you can actually help the user help themselves with the right tools, of course, then you won't have to wait for all the shipping fees and all that to fix whatever problem you have. And what are you showing me now, Kim?
Yeah, Kim, we can't
you
see
are
it.
always
Step back.
interrupting
Take a
me
step
with
back.
food.
Take a step back. And hold it. Take a step back. Pull it closer towards you, please, Kim.
Yeah.
There you go.
That's
That is watermelon
Oh,
rind
perfect.
That
preserve.
is beautiful. Okay,
Now
thank
it
you.
looks sweet, actually.
It does look sweet. Hold it for one more sec so I can take a quick picture. Beautiful. Got it. Thank you. Wonderful, wonderful. Okay, so I get a sense of where it's going there. Hassan, do you have anything that you want to add to that?
Well, I mean, brands have actually been using social media for their customer support. I remember the time when I installed Windows 7 the first time, and my Mozilla Firefox was crashing again and again. So I just tweeted about it, and like within 10 minutes, I got replied back from a guy from Firefox, and he was like, can you please give me some screenshots, sorry, or some memory dumps so I can like fix your problem and stuff. So they actually have been doing that. But now in this space, if they use it for customer support or their brand marketing, they actually are gonna have very honest feedback about it. Like, I mean, there is just so much that they can hide now. It's like
Yes, I know.
Yeah,
It's so
exactly.
true. They can't even hide if they're Indian anymore. I know you're not Sally from California. I know. Just be honest. I don't care, okay? Just be honest with me.
yeah, that too.
It's true, but do you
It's
really
true.
think the cost, they're still going to charge for that? You really think that people are going to pay to be in a hangout with the tech support person?
This is free. Google is paying for all the back end. Maybe if it's a business, they might charge for it. But,
That's
I
what
mean,
I'm
the
talking
infrastructure
about.
is already in there.
No, but that's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the idea that all these companies that can make money by charging for tech support, because they make a profit off some of that tech support, don't they?
Well, how much do you think phone farms cost? I mean, this is VoIP or internet-based communication, which is probably less. The data pipes are not
I'm
the
not
same.
talking about the amount of money it costs
No.
for them to do it. I'm talking about the idea that they're still going to charge for tech support.
Yeah, like Microsoft, to get them on the phone, it's
Right.
like $125 right off the bat or something, right?
You're exactly right with Microsoft, but
For
on the
Dell,
same
no,
note,
yeah,
we
it's not
know
the
that
case for
Apple
Dell.
doesn't do that, right? Apple doesn't
Apple
charge.
charges. Apple
They
charges.
charge, yeah.
Oh yeah, they totally
Every time I
charge.
go to the Apple store, like you can get in if you
Door
pay
is
for
not the
your
same.
extended warranty or whatever. You know what I mean?
Like I used to work at IT in college, and Apple
Yeah.
was like the most frustrating to work with because they wouldn't even talk to you about anything. You couldn't call. You would have to pay them to call the special number, and then you would actually have to bring them the units themselves. Dell for me was the most simple to work with. I could just call them. I would answer the questions of what I tried, and they would troubleshoot with me, and then they would send me a prepaid package box in and out quick.
Yeah, I have to say, Apple as a consumer is one way. If you walk in the store, you're a corporate Apple user. If you have to run a network with them or anything, that's a whole different story. Getting help from them. So I mean, it is different levels. I've used, I was.
What's you guys
the
ready
help
to
desk
see the
Cornbread.
It got done that quick.
Woo!
Full. Thank you.
All right.
Really envious. I got to eat on this show. Sorry, guys.
But yeah, things like, even higher level support like Cisco, I mean, that's definitely a corporate enterprise type thing. You're paying out the nose for that. So I guess it depends how far corporate enterprises versus how far, consumer like Dell would be amazing in this space. Maybe Cisco wouldn't just because of the nature of their product and their support structure. So yeah, I guess it depends on who it is.
Yeah.
No, I definitely agree with that. One of the things that people are talking about is really they keep questioning how do you monetize this space, because that's what companies do. And within it, I don't know that anyone said it's free. You know what I'm saying? But so it's interesting to get the perspective of, like, we've been really enjoying something that we haven't had to pay for.
Well, no, it's
I'm sure they'll charge for business. At least, maybe that's what they're thinking
Well,
about.
no.
Well, I mean, this functionality
Joseph,
is superior to Office 365, because if you check out Hangouts with Extras, you can share Google Docs and have a shared white space.
The whiteboards,
The whiteboards, while also collaborating with everyone else on the side.
No, that's a good point. Well, somebody else had a disagreement, though. Who was that? Is that Hassan? Were you going to chime in and say something?
No. I mean, I really don't disagree. I just wanted to add the fact that, I mean, monetization of this space is not going to be like a cliche. It's like Google actually what Google does is it kind of, I mean, they always have had very interesting revenue plans. I mean, like, people actually think that they're going to charge you to use this space. I don't think that that's going to happen with consumers. If you're like a business, that actually makes sense. But I know that they are. I can sense that they are going to come up with something really innovative. I mean, like they actually did with AdSense, because that like totally revolutionized the whole revenue plan thingy for just about everybody. So I think you can anticipate a very interesting phenomena in the monetization of this whole space.
Thank you. Now, I know there was this. What about Matthew? What is your take?
I'm sorry. I was gonna chime in, but I just got distracted because I was taking pictures. Just refresh my memory.
No, we were just talking about the monetization of this space. And Shefali, I'm going to ask you, and Lynette last, to wrap us up in the show. What's your take?
Yeah, I was going to say that they can monetize this space pretty easily. It's just a matter of building it up in time and people trusting it and people using it and getting used to this new space, getting used to what it is. I think a lot of, like you said, a lot of people, a lot of businesses are slow on social media. They're still getting into Facebook and Twitter. So something like Google Plus is a big task for them. And I think what will open their eyes is how Google Plus affects Google rankings. As soon as they see Google search rankings and Google Plus connected, that's when they're going to say, we don't have a choice. We really need to be on Google Plus, because everything we do on Google Plus is going to affect our business and our website traffic and our customers and how they see us and the vision of us, who we are.
That's definitely the argument anyway. That's definitely the argument. Shefali, where are you at with it?
Sorry, I was just going to say that right now people are still looking at Google Plus and not understanding what it's all about. They don't understand the far-reaching potential of Google Plus and how it works with Google and everything else. The businesses, I think they're still worried, you know, and they just don't see what's happening, and they're still staying with Twitter and Facebook and things like that, you know, for some of the companies. But those Twitter and Facebook now are, to me, it seems passé. I mean, I've been here since the beginning of July, and I never go on Twitter. I never go on Facebook. I don't look at the company pages on anywhere else. You know, this is where I am. And if I want to get some information about a company, I Google it. Damn it, that's what I do. Everything I do is on Google. You know, so I mean, this is the place to be for companies and individuals, for sure.
I absolutely understand it. Darn it. And Lynette, why don't you close us out? Where are you with it?
It's funny because I remember reading someplace, and of course I can't quote the exact source, that Google probably didn't even have to charge ever or put ads in here because they don't even need to make money from this product. So, you know, there's that, because a lot of the customers that I'll talk to, the first thing they'll say is, you know, besides what's Google Plus, is like, how much does it cost? Are there ads all over? Because there's this stigma from like a Facebook, or even now from the inserted ads on Twitter. And so a little bit of that carried over, but I think the largest thing that I try to push to people is that it's almost a blind leap of faith, that you know, you didn't trust in or you didn't believe in Twitter and you were on the fence with Facebook, and you see how that's panned out, can you really afford not to at least dip your toe in this? One profile, a little bit of information, you know, who else does Google trust more than Google? So of course Google Plus results are going to be top of the line. And I've seen little companies totally displace large companies that pay $250,000 a year for SEO just by their Google Plus. And sometimes the proof is in the pudding. And luckily for me, it's been very fast and very easy to show that. But, you know, there are still companies around here. I work and live in the middle of pharmaceutical land, and they're petrified to touch any of this. So, you know, where I am personally, it's a little bit more difficult. But looking around the world or around the country, I think the learning curve is much quicker now, and they're starting to realize that they know how to social network already, and they know how to promote their businesses, and this is just another avenue for them to do it. So hopefully it'll be a little quicker on the uptake.
All right. Well, okay. So that is going to close out our show for this evening. I hope you guys all hang out here after this. I want to thank everybody, all of our guests. You guys were absolutely spectacular.
Thank you.
Most importantly, our chef for the evening. I'm so envious. Kim Beasley, you rocked it. Thank you so much, girl. A couple of people I gotta say woo-woo too. Absolutely, Shefali, thank you. Technically, it was perfect. And our rounding out the back. And Robert, thank you for getting involved in the conversation. Say hello, everybody. Good night. And that is flavor.
One more thing. One more thing before we wrap.
Yeah.
If you want the recipe, sign up for our newsletter.
Sorry about that. Yes, that's right. You can go on to www.hangoutchefs.com and sign up for the newsletter. Thank you, guys. Woo! Woo!